So tonight we're talking about some trends with interiors and decorating and home, and I've got some amazing experts here tonight. And I wanted to bring them up to the stage, and then we'll get into it, and we'll be talking trends for about an hour. And make sure you think of questions along the way, and the last few minutes we'll take some questions for all of our panelists. So come on up. Have a seat on the red pillows. Thank you. So first we have Jesi Haack and Carissa Jones and Melody Brandon. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick intro on the three of these ladies. They're kind of like the dynamic trio. They're the best of all worlds for any event you need to plan. So if you want to tell us a little bit about your background, yeah, go for it. Your hair might be in your mic.
Sorry. I am an event designer. I started my business about 10 years ago as a wedding planner, and then it just kind of morphed into something completely different. So now I do a lot of installations, and yeah, just my job's weird. But I love every second of it.
So tell like some of the events that you've done in the past. And
I mean, we've done everything from weddings, birthday parties, conferences, trade shows, advertising campaigns, like launch parties for products. We work with a lot of brands. We do a lot of corporate work now. So we work with a lot of like brands that are trying to launch something or get, be more hip and happening, and they want to like throw a party. Or we'll design trade show booths for brands so that their booths look a little less trade showy.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love it. And you?
I know now I'm like nervous too, that like this is not, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Sounds good.
So I'm Carissa. I've been doing flowers now for about 15 years, specializing just in weddings and private events. We don't do retail, so we don't have like an official shop where we do daily flowers for places, but it's kind of fun doing events because we can do things with flowers that are kind of just supposed to be something really spectacular for one day. So we get to be a little more creative with our flowers, I feel like, versus when they're in the house, they just need to last for a week. But yeah, so mostly specializing in weddings, private parties. We do a lot of work with Jesi and Melody, and starting to do a lot more corporate stuff now as well, because a lot of corporate brands are trying to do something a little edgier and more creative. So yeah.
And how did you get started did you always want to do this?
No, so I was a history major in college, and then I actually started working with a wedding planner a couple years after I graduated from college. And so I was with her for maybe 3 or 4 years, and then she introduced me to the in-house floral designer at Fred Siegel. So I started doing flowers, just literally no experience at all whatsoever, and jumped into it, and a couple years later started my own business. And so now it's progressed, and a lot of trial and error over the years. I'm not like formally trained, but you don't really have to be when you're doing events, because again, things are supposed to be amazing for one day only, and so, yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. And then tell us about your visit. You're going to make me hungry.
Yes, yes. So we're all things treats and sweets. I own Sweet and Saucy Shop Bakery with my mom, and we customize all sorts of events. So when I got into doing desserts, I thought I was going to be an elementary school teacher, but then I switched and did a 180 and went to pastry school. And I started out in my apartment kitchen for about 2.5 years, and then just got, desserts day and night, and then it got so big that we ended up getting a bakery space in Long Beach, and now we're one of the top bakeries in Southern California. We go all over from San Diego to Santa Barbara and do everything from little baby smash cakes for our first birthday party up into like huge weddings and events, birthday parties. So our dream for the bakery was just basically to be a custom bakery to anything you want to dream up, we can do. So it gets a little crazy. We'll do like sculpted giant cakes, or like I said, the first birthday cakes. And then we have daily treats too that we do on a daily basis.
Nice. What's your favorite dessert?
Right now it is fall season, and I was never a big pumpkin lover growing up. I didn't love the taste of pumpkin pie, but once we came up with our pumpkin cupcake, it's a pumpkin cupcake, cinnamon cream cheese frosting, and salted caramel drizzle. I really love pumpkin now, so we have that and a pumpkin cheesecake. So those ones are my current tops.
Oh, sounds so good.
Yeah.
And you're all moms, right?
Yes.
So you balance business and being a mom, and how do you? I know it's like the magic question, right? Is how do you balance
I don't think it
everything?
exists.
No. I know it doesn't.
At least, yeah. Like, I just feel like I've I feel like I went through a phase of like, okay, I mean, I started having kids the same time I was building a business on accident, and so I just always had to figure it out. And then at a certain point, I was like, okay, I'm going to be intentional about this balance thing. Like, I'm going to have office hours, and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that just doesn't work for my business and my personality. And after like a few years of just really trying to find this like thing called balance, I like decided it doesn't exist. I'm like, whoever tells me that there's balance is like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like you have to make intentional decisions. Like, I guess you could call that balance, but it's definitely not balanced. Like, if I'm gonna like be the kind of mom that I want to be, then my business is gonna suffer, and I have to be okay with that and know that I'm not gonna be, I don't know, whoever, like
The
Martha
biggest,
Stewart or
right.
whatever.
Something
I mean,
always has to give.
I basically am better than Martha Stewart, but it's fine. But it's like, you know, you have to give up something to get something else. You can't like, because if it was just me without my kids, I would like work 24 hours a day because it's just the way I am, you know. But my kids like will come and shut my computer, and then I'm like, oh, all right,
Guess I'm done working.
mom of the
today.
year.
Same for you.
Yeah, I feel like I love Oh Joy. I don't know if any of you guys follow her, but she did a whole blog post on it because she's a working mom as well. She has 2 kiddos, and she basically did a blog post saying like balance is like a unicorn. It really doesn't exist. And I totally agree with that. I mean, I've had to learn to take my grip of being the only one in control of my business. So when I first started, I worked 90 hours a week. One time I was in my bakery 3 days without sleeping, delivering every single cake because I wanted to make sure when it dropped off, you know, to the T. And then we did so many weddings, I couldn't do more than 7 in a day that I would deliver personally. So the next year, I finally had to say, oh, I think someone can decorate a cake as good as me. And now we have amazing decorators. And it is fun from my standpoint to actually like train, inspire, and let other people blossom and see that in them. So we have a staff of like 30 to 40 people, and so that's a different aspect to manage in the business, which is a whole beast in itself. But on the other hand, it has been nice because I've been able to train people to do the job, and they do it just as great as I do, and then I can be home with my family more.
Delegation.
Delegation,
Yeah.
that's an amazing thing.
And a good group of friends. Like, I
Yes.
think a lot of us, we're kind of raising babies together. We are very lucky because we're all in the wedding industry together, so we get each other's, we get all the triumphs and all the like lows, and I think that sometimes it just helps to be able to shut your kids in a room together and let them play so you can have like a little bit of time as like an adult and a mom and a person. And yeah, I think like what you were saying, like something always is gonna have to give, like in aspects of like home entertaining, like dry shampoo is your best friend, because sometimes if you want to have like a beautiful table setting or something nice set out for your guests, like you don't get a shower, and because your kids are screaming background, and so it's all about trying to just figure out what's important right here, right now, and sometimes it's getting your kids fed or your guests a cocktail, or you know, sometimes you just
Most important.
take a cocktail. Very important.
Which leads to my first question. I'm sure everyone here is very interested and throws parties all the time or goes to parties, but let's get some tips from you guys of, you know, party throwing, you know, trends and what the tips are for, you know, throwing a really great party at your house or at, you know, at a different venue.
I mean, for me, I think we probably all have a different answer for this because we all have different strengths. Like, if you asked me to cook, you would not want to come to my party. No one would show up. My
But her husband cooks amazing.
Basically,
Perfect.
the only
That's why you
reason
married him.
the only reason people come to our house is because I'm not even joking, like because of his cooking. But I am like, I feel like, okay, well, I can handle the ambiance, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, twinkle lights in any space automatically turns like a ghetto. If you live in a ghetto apartment, which I used to, and you put twinkle lights, all of a sudden it's like legit, in my opinion. Twinkle lights.
They do.
Yeah,
Blankets
they do.
on the floor. You like don't need to spend a lot of money, you know?
Yeah.
Like we do a lot of movie nights at our house, and we'll like throw a sheet up in the tree, and like I have like an inexpensive projector, and we'll just like show a movie. We have the twinkle lights, order
Love that.
pizza, like pillows and blankets on the, and it's like the most fun, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm all about the ambiance because I can like control that. Whereas if I was like braising beef, which is that what you do? Do you braise?
You braise. You can braise.
What
I
about
don't do
tips for like the table setting? That's all. I'm always the worst at that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
what are some easy tips for setting a cute table?
I feel like, so for my, and I don't mean to keep talking,
No, go.
but they want me to. They already told me that. But I just bought like a really like inexpensive set of dishes, and I feel like no matter what they look like, if they all match, like you're ahead of the game. So You guys, I literally have plates from the dollar store, but they're all white.
I just did that too.
Right?
Yes.
You could buy like 40 and you could throw a party. And then same with wine glasses, like IKEA. And I was just at IKEA today, and they have like legit like stoneware plates now, and they are so affordable. So if you just like stock your house with like setting, however many people come, like for us, we have 30. Not that we're that popular, but like if you're throwing like a baby shower or something, you know, it's nice to have, and you can just pull them out, you know.
You guys always have cute napkins that are the.
Oh, we do. We got like super eco-friendly a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then we don't have paper towels in our house. We never have, and it throws everybody off. They all can't handle it. But I just collected like.
They're like dish towels.
Yeah, like
a tea towel.
Or like
IKEA has cheap ones.
whatever, like fabric napkins or whatever. So we just have like a few drawers of those, and it's like they don't have to match, but they look cute. So.
Cute.
You have wood flatware all the time too.
And Anthropology is doing 20% off for Style Week, so.
And that's my favorite store.
Right?
So everyone on my Instagram knows me as like the Anthropology lover. I go there way too much. I was there last night. That's my favorite store. I like going and getting a set. So she's a little bit more, like she'll go to like the more inexpensive, and I love how she throws her parties.
Ew, that's so rude.
No, I'm just saying I don't have like all the plates that are matching, but I feel like if I have a couple key pieces, then I can maybe get more like a cute, not paper plate, but I can get something. I like the serving trays to be really nice.
She asks me to borrow my cheap
so I
plates.
borrow hers. No, but I like getting really gorgeous platters. So like Anthropology has amazing like the marble ones or wood ones. I feel like those are so versatile. You can do the cheese platter, you can do a fruit platter, you can put cupcakes on them. You can really do anything, and that can be a base for almost any party, which I think is important. If you're going to invest in a piece, you want that piece to go with any party, whether it be a kid birthday party or an adult cocktail party. You don't want to have, no one has space in their house to have like, you know, cake stands or platters for every occasion, but if you pick a neutral one, then at least for when I'm doing desserts and we do orders for people, I just tell them customize like the liners of your desserts, which are really inexpensive. Personally, we don't charge any extra. You can pick whatever color liner. So as long as you have your white or your wood or your marble platters, you can then switch up your party details for that design. And I think color coordinating or adding some like uniformity to a space is really nice. And then again, to delegate, I feel like Jesi's amazing at delegating food, right? Like her husband will do it, or she'll buy in, right? She had an amazing, what was the last party? And she had a taco truck come out, and then everything else she could do, and she could be a present host. Yeah. And I feel like that's really important. If you're gonna entertain and you're stressed out, nobody really wants to come to your house.
Right.
So, you know, I find a lot of people for us are like, I don't want to make the dessert, so we're gonna buy desserts from you, and we'll buy food from somebody, and I can do another aspect of the entertaining that I enjoy. So I say find what you enjoy doing, and then do that aspect, and the rest you should just delegate away.
And give us some floral tips.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I actually never worked for a retail florist, and oftentimes when I personally need flowers, like I will go sometimes to like a grocery store or something if it's like off hours and I can't get to my wholesaler. Whole Foods has a really amazing selection here. I do love Trader Joe's. They go direct to the growers, so they're actually sometimes cheaper than when I can get them downtown. Sometimes it's not even about flowers, but for me personally, I think not everyone can do like a mixed arrangement. We do stuff all the time called monobotanical, where it's literally one kind of flower in a vase. You could go to a regular grocery store. They're bound to have white hydrangeas or white tulips or just something really simple, and if you cut them the same length and put them in the vase, they kind of will naturally just take shape. A lot of times I clip greenery from like my neighborhood sometimes. If I have like I used to have a beautiful jasmine bush that grew in my yard. I would clip jasmine vine. Just greenery in a vase is really simple and just adds a little life to a space. So I think just trying to keep it simple. Again, if you enjoy trying to arrange and do mixed arrangement, that's always great. But a lot of people don't love that, or they can't do it. I think plants are awesome. We do a lot of tablescapes with plants, potted herbs. You can get herbs at like any grocery store. I mean, you can find stuff at Home Depot. We use a lot of stuff from Home Depot, potted rosemary or lavender and things like that, which smells amazing. And you can trim some off and garnish your cheese platter with fresh rosemary. So potted herbs are also an easy way to go. And then you can plant them afterward if you want to as well.
Oh yeah, good tip.
But we buy a lot of cheap like plants and flowers sometimes for like my own house, but then put them in beautiful containers because that always like elevates it. So yeah, I have a lot of really beautiful things from Anthropology, lots of beautiful like vases and stoneware pieces that you put one little easy thing of rosemary in there and all of a sudden you're like, oh, like looks gorgeous, you know. So with some candles and stuff, it's pretty simple and just makes the space look pretty.
And then what about like current trends in this industry? Do you see any trends that are coming up for fall?
Like for home entertainment?
Home entertaining, yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of like making your own trends. So I feel like we could just decide as a group together
right now.
Let's just decide what's going to be trendy. I say dollar store plates. Tell your friends. It's a trend.
I think like for food and stuff, like sticking to the season. I mean,
Yes.
finding, you know, I know that like pumpkin everything right now, right? Everybody's all about pumpkin spice, but there's a really great cocktail that we've done with like a spice cider, and it's just like a shot of whiskey or bourbon with ice. You just top it with some spice cider from like a grocery store, Whole Foods or Trader Joe's would have them. And then we garnish with like a little bit of orange peel and a couple fresh cranberries, and it is so unbelievable. And everybody constantly asks me what's in the cocktail, and it's so easy because it's already a pre-made spice cider if you just get like a nice spice cider from somewhere. It's just bourbon and that, and then again, all about the garnish. You could even put like a pretty little cinnamon stick in there or something, and it's also, you can pre-mix it, so that way again, you can kind of be present and just pouring it over ice, and then you're not constantly like behind the bar trying to mix up like a very extreme cocktail, you know? But yeah, like I think going with like some delicious like fall flavors is always popular right now.
Is that how you, when you start a party, when you know, think of it from inception, do you think of the trend or the theme first, or how does that process work?
For me, that's easiest for me, is to know like the end game, like what are we trying to communicate, and not to get too like into my process, because who cares? But like if we know what we're trying to communicate, then I can work backwards from there, you know. So like if it's, I don't know, like if it's we do this huge Thanksgiving party every year, and so we like, it's become a thing. Like it has become a huge thing, and we don't ever take anyone off the list. So like it just keeps adding, and you can add, like if you're on the list, you can add
A friend?
Yeah, like we want everyone to come, and then everyone signs up for their own, like to bring their own thing, but then there's like serious social pressure attached to it, because it's like our big party. So if you buy something at the store, like you will be shamed.
Oh,
so, and then we give away a trophy to the best, like.
I won one year. I
Oh,
just
yes.
want to put it out there.
She won the Golden Baster.
I did too, actually.
Oh, did you?
You
Yes.
did. But for one of my girlfriend's baby showers, she was adopting a little kid, and she didn't have any kids, and she didn't want like a traditional baby shower. So we did like a night at my house where we had a bonfire, and we made s'mores, and we had like hot cocoa and like tomato soup. And so I went to the dollar store and got 40 white bowls, very nice ones, ceramic. Sorry.
You're never going to live this down.
And we put together like a little s'mores bar, you know, like, so it was like I didn't need to do like this elaborate table setting, because we had chairs around the bonfire, you know. So it's like you have to start somewhere by just knowing like what you want the party to feel like.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be like a very formal sit-down dinner with courses, or do you want it to feel more like cash and just people hanging out in the yard?
And whether there's kids coming, I mean, that
Yeah,
always
kids
is
make a big
huge- They
difference,
make a big difference, because when your kids are there, you don't always have time to be in the kitchen cooking and doing things. So the more simple, the better you can get with food. And again, even if you're like ordering out, or you just, everybody's doing, okay, I mean, you could do a whole make your own pizza party, but then you have to like literally be standing there the entire time helping the kids. So
Well,
who
it's
wants to
all
do
the
that, you know?
presentation too. Like you could
Yeah.
order a bunch of pizzas and they're in big, you know, pizza boxes.
Yeah.
Or you could have beautiful place settings
Totally.
and you know,
Yeah.
make it look really nice.
Yeah.
I skipped you for the last
Oh,
question.
no problem. Yeah. What was the last question again?
Any trends?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I feel like for parties, people just don't want as formal, and they do want it to be a little bit casual and more enjoyable, because sometimes that is just more enjoyable for people. And so having their home style favorite foods is like comfortable. We do a lot of what's called a naked cake, so there's not even a lot of frosting on the outside. It's, you see the exposed cake layers, and it just looks more rustic, down to earth, like it brings you back memories. And so we'll do like home style cookies, like whether it be like snickerdoodles or chocolate chip, and we'll tie them up in little bundles. So if you do like 3 or 4 in a bundle and tie it with a ribbon, and then put that as like a place setting or a to go, it's just like in the presentation, like you said, rather than just having, you know, a tray of cookies, it doesn't look visually appealing. But if you bundle them up with like a little ribbon, which is like so easy to do, and stack them or have them, you know, on your cute, expensive Anthro cake stands or Martha Stewart, then they look really, really nice. But yeah, I would say doing those personal touches. We do a lot of like things for kids especially that they can take and go with. So we'll do like mini mason jars, which you can get easily, and then you can fill them, whether it be with like a mousse or like a fresh fruit, or we do like little layer cakes in there. And so you could do red velvet and cream cheese and put that and then tie it with a little wooden spoon, and those like really make people happy. They just see them and it just puts a smile on your face. Anything miniature I feel like people like, especially with Orange County and on diets. I don't really do full large desserts. People feel better taking a mini dessert. And so if you have a mini dessert bar, they're way more apt to be like, I can handle one mini. And then they go back for a second. Right. Rather than like a big cupcake or a large slice of cake, most people will be like, I'm fine. But the minis, we do a lot of mini dessert bars, and they're just really pretty, and they're a part of your whole party, rather than sometimes a cake might get shoved to the corner and doesn't seem like it's part of the event. If you do a mini dessert bar, or we can make sure your cake's incorporated into the design, we're really big on that. So we work with them and say like, what are actually you designing, what table, and things like that. So it doesn't look like, you know, the random cake that's stuck in the corner has nothing to do with the whole
no
event.
one wants to approach.
Exactly, and most of it doesn't taste good either. So we're all about looking good, but tasting better.
I think one thing too that like you and I notice a lot with corporate parties, and that is translating now into home parties, is a lot of people want something interactive. You get asked a lot to do like these activation stations where like last night we did a party for Facebook, and her girl showed up and did this whole like make your own lay station, which would be so easy if you were throwing like a summer party and you wanted your guests to be able to come and make something. It could be fresh florals, it could be silk. We've done other things before where
like baby shower DIY. She threw me a baby shower and like dip dyed like the baby onesies, like tie dye, and it was like in a beautiful like blues, like
like the indigo,
indigo colors. It was like for a baby boy, so it was like super pretty. And then I came home with all of these different onesies. That
she literally had like 45 onesies.
I had 45 onesies,
but we got different sizes.
Yeah. So. But I feel like those are like personal touches that really mean something to people.
Yeah. Or like making a wreath, like going into this season too. Like we did a lot. Like there's a huge trend with like wreath making parties, and you don't have to be an expert. I mean, honestly, YouTube's amazing. You could watch an easy YouTube tutorial on how to wire a wreath, and if you buy like a grapevine wreath, you can get them even on Amazon. It's really easy to just literally stick the greens into it. There's no wiring required. You don't have to be crafty, and that's like kind of a trend with like making like kind of a half-sided wreath, basically where one half looks like a grapevine, like very branchy, and the other half has like all the greens on it. It's really pretty, and it's something that you could easily do with your friends. Just get some wine or champagne and not even have to feed everybody a whole meal. You're actually doing something and creating something together, which again is also something that I think people love to do, is like create together, you know?
And I feel like it helps like ease the mom guilt. Like if you have a purpose for your hanging out, right? It's like, no,
we're doing something.
Babe, I have to go because we're like making a wreath. Like, do you want a Christmas wreath or not this year? And then you go and drink rosé and like pretend to make a wreath. So it like helps everyone. And then people are like, yeah, I could do that. It's like not just another happy hour.
It's good too if you have like a group of friends who might not necessarily know each other as well, or you have like different friends from different walks of life, because you're doing something. You're not sitting awkwardly across a table where it's like very formal. You're actually, and that way, if if you're kind of out of conversation, you can get up, walk to the restroom, or you like bury yourself in your wreath or something, and it's not like an awkward scenario. So
totally,
interactive stuff's fun.
Yes, I 100% agree. And if you guys want to come tomorrow, we're doing a ton of activations. They're going to have setups in this area over here and over there. There will be home, fashion, and beauty. So all kinds of activations and fun stuff happening. I know we already kind of talked about DIYs. I wanted to share one of mine that I did that I was kind of proud about.
Do it, girl.
So last year for Christmas, I hosted at my house, which I never do and I'm so scared about. So we had the whole family over, and I did these. It was the easiest DIY. I couldn't even believe that I did it. I got Scrabble letters from Amazon and spelled out everyone's name.
Cute,
And then I super glued it to like a little back, and then put like a strap around it, and it was their place setting, and then an ornament.
Cute. I love that.
So cute.
I didn't make it up. I saw it somewhere. But
she's like, and they'll be for sale on my website.
And you can get kids involved a lot of times too. I feel like those easy place settings or whatever, and the kids, it means so much to them to like be a part of it. So I think that's a really cute one.
Yeah. So that was my DIY. I know you guys kind of talked about a few of them, but did you have any others that are easy little cute things that people could do?
We did some stuff actually last year. I did a little event at the Anthro here. we did some really simple, this is like for the holiday season, we did some little place setting bundles where we just did a couple cinnamon sticks, tied them with some twine, got a little sprig of cedar tied it on. It was super easy, and it just, again, it adds a little color, a little pop of like green, freshness to each place setting. That's super cheap and affordable, and again, it makes people feel like you thought about them. There's something right there at their place. It's not just like part of a tablescape. It's kind of nice when you have like a little something at each napkin.
Yeah.
And you could do like a custom, you can do like a little, if people are good at calligraphy or something, you could easily write on a really pretty scrap of ribbon or some like leather and do like a little cuff around a napkin tie. But
I mean, I feel like the DIY scene is like, the sky's the limit.
yeah.
You know, you just look for an idea online and then like work backwards. It's basically how I built my career.
Well,
watching YouTube videos and teaching myself how to do stuff.
There's
Or
so much good
coming up with really awesome ideas that no one's done before.
Totally.
And like nailing them the first try. But no, we've done like little mini wall hangings, like, you know, the yarn hangings were, all, you know, really big, and it's super inexpensive, and it's actually not hard at all. Doesn't have to be like the complicated macrame knot, just like different colors and textures of yarn, and then people come in and like pick their yarn, pick their colors, tie, and then we got like some cute little like extra, what are those things called? There's a word, it's like accoutrements or something, whatever.
Oh, accoutrements.
That. We had like little like puff balls or like, you know, like tassels, and they could hang with it, so it makes it a little bit more than just a simple wall hanging. But I just feel like I try it when we get asked a lot to do like in-store events or like little creative stations, and I just try to think not what's easy for people to make, but like what they would really enjoy. So like, I don't know, like I feel like there's a lot of times that you go to something like that and you make it and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? Like I don't actually want this in my house because like I didn't do a great job, you know? So like it needs to be something that's simple, but that is actually cool and people would want to take home.
And it's different, you know, there's so many events and it's hard to stand out. So thinking of things that are interesting and exciting to people. Any
for kids parties and stuff, I feel like there's like a lot of DIYs you can do with desserts. Sometimes people will buy from us the cupcake bases and then get the frosting in bags, and they'll do like a cupcake decorating party for kids. Kids love that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really, you can make,
kind of stuff.
yeah, totally. But I mean, they just feel crafty and they're super like proud of themselves. I mean, we've done even like little mini 4-inch cakes, and someone will buy all the white ones, and you can even cover them in fondant and get like edible markers, and literally the kids can like draw on the cakes themselves. You could do like edible images and, you know, take someone's name, and you could just be really, my daughter will sometimes, she's 5, come to the bakery and she'll get what's called a dummy cake. It's just the styrofoam inside of when we do like fake cakes, and she'll decorate that, and she will be so proud of that dummy cake because she had the flour and this touch and that touch. So I feel like giving kids that creativity in a party or some activity they can do is like really helpful. And you can do as elaborate as a cupcake or cake decorating, or as simple as like the s'mores and, you know, things like that. But definitely a lot of DIYs with the desserts you can do.
Yeah, cute. Cool. And you guys are, I hope, thinking of questions to ask them. We'll open it up for questions in a few minutes. I've got a few more for them. So I know you love the dollar store or Dollar General.
No, please don't.
But Dollar General.
Don't give that. Don't put that on me. About one thing.
You put it on yourself.
2 things, bowls.
No,
I also love Dollar Tree.
I was freaking out with my husband. I was like, what?
They have this here?
I know. I was going nuts. I bought like 50 plates too.
Okay.
So,
but let's just not spread, like, let's not make that my reputation.
It'll only be on our YouTube channel.
Okay, great. Okay, great. I also love Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's.
But other tips to entertain on a budget. So like, you know, where to spend, where to save. Like, what are some good tips for that?
I love a good cheese platter. I mean, it's like no surprise. It's literally like my thing. Like when people come over, I like love to get it out, and it gives me more time to either like figure out the rest of dinner or chase my kids or whatever. But gives people something to just graze on, and so that way you buy yourself another hour and a half. But I do love just, I mean, again, I think like sometimes just doing like just cheese, maybe like a cocktail or some wine, and then like maybe just dessert after or something. Like I'm full by the time I'm done with the cheese platter, because I like do all the meats and the nuts and the fruits and all the things. So like, I feel like we always fill up on that.
I'm full on the cheese and the nuts. Sorry.
But I do think you could potentially, just do an amazing cheese platter with a great cocktail and go right into dessert and do lots of desserts. Like, because I'm a sweets girl, and I think that like that would potentially save you
A lot
of money in the middle and not having to do like a full-blown meal.
Well, if you give people enough alcohol, then you don't need decor or food. And everybody leaves, they just had the best time.
That is true. That is true.
There's a lot of trends with like donuts and events, so I feel like a lot of my friends turned their parties that were going to be evening into like morning or like brunchy ones, and those kind of foods I feel like are a lot less expensive. So, I mean, I guess some of the places like I love Sidecar Donuts, so they are a little bit more expensive, but I mean, you could get, you know, really inexpensive donuts, and then just the presentation is super cute, like the pegboards with the little hooks on them, and you literally are hanging the donuts and you have a donut wall. I mean, that's the cutest thing ever for a kid's birthday party, and everyone's coming for donuts, and that's all you had to buy, and then have some drinks, and then like a little smash cake, or it could just be a stack of donuts. So, you know, for parties, I don't feel like you have to be expensive. I just feel like you have to put some time and energy into it to make it memorable, and then your guests are enjoying it. And, you know, I don't think when we do, you know, parties and events for ourselves, which are really the most fun, we're always like, you bring something, and so to tell other people, like, okay, you bring what dish you want to bring, and then everyone brings a dish that, you know, for her Thanksgiving party, everyone's making their best dish ever. And so you're really excited to taste everyone's food. And when I hosted Thanksgiving, you know, I could have said, I'm going to make everything from scratch, but I was like, I'm going to be a cuckoo person. So my mom was like, have grandma bring this, have someone. And then I just made sure everyone, you know, my house was clean. I had my nice serving platters out there, and I just enjoyed the time with them. And I feel like that's more important. So delegating is a key thing that I like doing. And then, yeah, breakfasty stuff is really easy, I feel like.
To touch on what you're saying too, like I feel like ever really since like 2008 when the economy kind of tanked, like I think in general events and weddings kind of went back to this like, we just want people to feel like at home and comfortable, and that's when like the whole DIY thing kind of started, and people just wanting, like they didn't want that like formal stuffy setting anymore. That is kind of coming back a little, like there is like more modern feel coming back in general with events, but I do feel like it isn't a big deal to ask your friends to bring something to your party. Like no one's gonna care. Like it, you know, if these are your real friends, like, and if that is gonna help you be a better, more present person, to just, hey, can you bring a bottle of wine? Can you bring an appetizer? And
that's the right thing to do anyway.
It is, totally. So I don't put so much pressure on yourself to throw this like ridiculous party where you're paying for everything or hosting everything. There is a time and place for that. It's called a wedding. It's called an anniversary party. I mean, there are those special events in our lives, but like on a day-to-day, like every weekend getting together basis, like I don't think every single weekend has to be like this perfect thing that you're like doing everything for, you know? You can say no to yourself sometimes and like,
and if I think on the other hand too, like I think there's a lot of times where you will throw a party where you don't feel comfortable asking people to bring things, and I think that's totally legit. But I think it's like, don't try to do everything, like have this crazy food spread. Just like keep it simple, but do it well. So like, I think like what we were saying earlier about it being interactive or being unique, and I think a lot of things can be done like a make your own. So if it's like make your own pizza and you have all your like stuff in cute dollar store bowls, or
taco bar,
or
chili bar,
make your own trail mix, or like decorate. You know, I just feel like you can do it to where it's not going to cost you a lot of money, not going to take you a lot of time, but like people will be stoked because they're like participating. It's unique, and they're like, oh, this is a cute idea.
And it's not like, it is a lot of times just about presentation. I mean, for us three, especially like with what we do for a living, I mean, we literally could take a piece of garbage and make it look good probably, because it's all in what you're putting it on. It's putting some candles around it. It's, you know, so I do feel like, I mean, certain places that have like inexpensive things are great, but also having like a couple key pieces, whether it's like, you know, a beautiful candelabra that you got and it's really expensive and that's like the focal point of your table, and then you have like the cheap, you know, just simple greenery and like some easy vases, like that will kind of elevate things. So, I don't even know where I was going with this.
No, it was good.
Well,
What were we
I love it.
Making
the budget,
like entertaining on a budget.
Inexpensive, like where to save. And what about in Fashion Island? What stores are your favorite for home here?
Yeah, I love the
We know Anthropologie.
I know Anthro. The Martha Stewart collection I feel is nice and basic and classic, so you're never going to go wrong getting those pieces. Most of them that I go to are white because, again, then I can throw anything I want on it and it looks good. I feel like if you get I have some like key pieces that are intricate with patterns, but I can't use them very much, and I don't have tons of storage in my house to do like a bunch of unique pieces. So I'm really into gold, like neutrals and white, so most of my pieces are that, and then I might have some blush pinks, and then otherwise if it's like a, you know, specialized party, then I'll pull in those certain aspects in the disposable items, so like the napkins or the liners or things like that. So I do buy almost everything at Anthropologie.
I have a lot of their stuff, too.
yeah,
So
that's
good.
probably my main one because those pieces last and they are timeless, but you can tell there's more attention to detail. Yeah, so
Jonathan Adler's great too.
What?
Jonathan Adler.
Yes, love their stuff.
I'm a
too.
West Elm fan.
Oh yeah. I forgot West Elm. Yeah, West Elm I love.
And there's sales. You can, I'm the cheap one on the stage. It's obvious. Let's just
I'm
say
with you.
it.
I was at the dollar store too.
Whole Foods though too. I mean, again, I feel like they have a great flower selection. I saw all their pumpkins out tonight. That was very exciting.
Yeah.
We did a cute thing last year with Anthro where we had someone calligraphy on the pumpkins, like give thanks or welcome, or I mean, you could do like a little mini pumpkin for each person. But just having a couple really gorgeous, like green or gray pumpkins, those are really popular right now. It's not just about orange. I'm a neutral person, so for me, I love like everything's white. So I buy all white pumpkins and gray ones and green ones. But Whole Foods is awesome. They have like a ton of stuff, and then they have everything you need really too for like all the food you want to go get, alcohol. It's a good go-to spot.
So what would you do for like, Halloween's coming up. So off the top of your head, say you want to do like, a pumpkin carving party.
I would never do that actually, because it's very messy, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean my whole house up and have people come over. That sounds like torturous. I would gladly have a pumpkin, maybe like coloring on, like maybe they can like painting on a pumpkin
Outside, away from walls.
Yeah, no glitter. There'll be no
Whatever,
glitter.
you
But
do
I
the
love
pumpkin carving and all the husbands go with the kids and do
Yeah,
it,
we
and
do
we
that
sit and
a lot
drink
of my
wine.
Yeah.
I do think it
my kind of
actually for
party.
kids it'd be really fun. Even for adults, like you can get like really amazing like studs or like like trims, pom-poms, like sequins, and you could like do it up with like your girlfriends for an actual pumpkin decorating, It doesn't all have to be for kids. I mean, I think adults like doing this stuff too, but that would be really fun. Decorating a pumpkin is great.
We actually did one time, we did like styrofoam pumpkins, and we got just a bunch of little like craft things from Michael's, and they stuck like, like they can cut out eyes from felt or Google eyes or whatever, and like glue and push things into the styrofoam.
Yeah.
And it was a little less messy and
Yeah.
kind of fun and cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. For the food, I think like with winter, everyone loves soup. So, I mean, making from scratch or just getting like, the roasted red pepper and tomato soup, everyone loves that one. And then adding toppings that people like. So if you have your goat cheese and your, pumpkin seeds and whatever. I feel like toppings for anything, whether it be a salad or a soup bar, is really key. And then you can present it really nice, and it is interactive because everyone can put what they like on it. So maybe having like 3 soups, and they can all stay in the crock pot and keep warm. And then you're really like a present host, because that's the easiest. If you have good bread, everybody loves good bread, good soup, and then buy a cake from us that's like the pumpkin cake, and it's like super simple, and everyone will love your cake. It's
true.
So yeah, I feel like that's really easy to do, is the soup and the bread. I mean, you can throw that together in no time at all. I feel like a lot of our parties are thrown together last minute because we're like, you're free, I'm free, let's do it. And then we all throw it together.
What vegetables do you have? What protein do you have?
Exactly. Yeah, you just roast some vegetables.
Well, you guys are the professionals. I would not have a clue.
Yeah, it's pretty, we throw things together like that, and you could style a good Instagram photo while the kids are screaming around you really easily,
Wow.
That's true.
That's cool. Okay, so I wanted to open it up for some questions. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, pound cakes are a great one too, because again, it's that naked aspect of it. Looks like natural and home style, and you could less calories. Yeah, maybe depends on your frosting on there, but yeah. But then you could add florals to that, or decorate it. So yeah, that's a great one. And the mini ones too. I love individual desserts. So like for our event tomorrow that we're setting up, we actually they have these new trays that are for Oreos. So everyone loves Oreos, I feel like. So you get these trays and you put white chocolate that's melted in there, your Oreo in the middle, and then you pour the white chocolate on top. They literally just look like flawless white cookie gems. You don't know an Oreo is inside whatsoever. So you can change it up with the season, do peppermint ones inside, or they have like the Halloween color ones. And so then we literally decorate it with like rock candy to where it looks like a white gems on top. Like we did a gem party for her daughter, Avalon. It was all gems was her party. It was the cutest birthday party. And it was literally these crystal gems that were just rock candy. And then we colored them for whatever. And so we'll do that, or you can get little molds from Michael's and then mold your fondant or your chocolate, pop it on the mold, or we do edible images. So you can really change up that, and it looks awesome. You could do it for a kid's birthday party or a formal event. We did those and they got in Martha Stewart magazine because it was for an event, and we literally did these molds of intricate. I forget the exact color scheme, but they looked so beautiful. So those, or like macarons, we hand calligraphy on them with edible food coloring. And so to do a personalized element, those are a little bit pricier, but if you are going for that formal event, for weddings or events, putting something that's scripted on there is just a really beautiful touch, I feel like. So personalizing anything for anybody, I feel like makes them feel loved and special. So if you can do that, or if you're doing a little bit more kickback, you can have the kids write their name on it or decorate it. And you know, then it's that kind of more home style party. So I think that's a fun touch.
Love that. Anyone planning a party and they want tips? Dinners? Nothing? Yeah.
Any tips for cleanup?
Oh.
Hire someone.
I was just going to say, focus on your strengths.
Focus on your
Cleaning
strengths.
is not mine.
Yeah, cleaning's not mine. In my house, I never do the dishes.
I mean,
so my husband-
disposables. That's my tip. Like literally,
They
I
have
feel like
really
every
cute
part.
disposables.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
do.
Amazon has just the really great like wood, fork, knife, spoon sets, and they look cute.
Shop Sweet Lulu, is it?
Yeah, Shop
Yeah.
Sweet Lulu.
Shop
is
Sweet
great.
Lulu's a really
For
cute
your-
one
for your
online.
party.
They're a
They're
little bit
great.
pricier, but they
Yeah.
have amazing, I mean, it looks real, like they're gold
Yeah.
plates. So I was like, oh my gosh, I love these.
Yeah.
So, but then you could literally just toss them.
And cute cocktail napkins, like that's always really easy. And then that way you're not having to like do a bunch of laundry if you're doing like cloth napkins. And so
One tip I would say is not to clean up too soon, which is like really hard for me.
Yeah.
Like I want to like clean as I go because I don't want to have a thing later, but it's such a vibe killer. People are like, oh, I guess I should go. Like I feel like she wants us out of here, you know? So I have to like literally be like, yeah, it's okay. It's great. The playroom is a disaster. And then when everyone leaves, like me and my husband will just like bust it out, and it actually is like not a big deal.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
I leave it for the next day normally. So I wish they clean really well. And
If you follow her on Instagram, you've seen her house.
yeah, sometimes
and-
it's messy. People
and how
love
bad
it
it
though.
can
It's
get.
real life. Yeah, it's
Gives
not
me
my
so much
strength.
anxiety. Can't handle it.
oftentimes, if you have kids too, like we do a lot of like throw the blanket out on the lawn.
Yeah.
You eat outside. Like you're
Oh,
gonna
for
go
sure.
outside, you're
Yeah.
gonna eat on the blanket, so I can literally take the blanket and just shake it off after. I don't want it all over my floors. So that's another
Yeah,
good way to
outside
try
for
to keep
kids
it.
is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about when, I've had this a lot at my house, when guests come with their kids and they're not watching their kids, and I'm like, it's all over my chair, it's everywhere. Like,
I feel like you just have to let it go, to be honest. Like,
Really? Oh my
life
God.
is too short. Honestly, like, just let it go.
but taking the like red
Drink some
sauce
more
all over my
rosé.
white
Just drink your
couch.
rosé. You're fine.
Drink your rosé. That's when you do the outdoor parties and do like the movie
Yeah.
outside. And for us, most of the time, especially in summertime, we're like pool.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a like $5 Target one, and bathing suits, and all the adults, the dads stay
Yeah.
outside with the kids, and normally the moms stay inside with the cheese platter and
Yes.
the wine. And we're like, this is an amazing party.
But in
We're
honesty,
the worst moms right now.
I know.
We're good.
We're not.
We're with them all day. We're with them all day.
You're good. Yeah.
We promise.
no, but I honestly, like, I feel like we people come with their kids to our house all the time, and your guys' houses too. But like, we just eat outside. Like,
Yeah.
we just made a rule because I find food in the weirdest places, and then like bugs come and they make babies, and it's just that's never happened to me, but I've heard. And so we just say food outside. Like whenever people are over, like
Keep it outside.
don't
It's
be
just
inside.
easier.
And then you
that's
just
how we live in Southern
eliminate
California.
that
We eat
stress,
outside all
and
day.
you eliminate having to yell at your friend's kid on accident.
Yeah. Totally. Heat lamps?
No, I don't.
I know. I
We have
actually
We have like a
don't
fire
like
pit,
either.
but like
Yeah, fire pit always is great.
Yeah, it's a little crazy with kids, but I think it brings the ambiance of sort of fun.
Yeah. I know. I've actually, I've never bought a heat lamp. I don't feel. I mean, we do a lot of blankets.
Yeah,
too.
she has
Like, if you
tons
get
of
some
blankets. Her
great,
setup
like-
outside's like so
Yeah.
nice. It's a cul-de-sac, and I just feel like it's the twinkle lights and all the chairs outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's cold, you literally just grab some of the blankets in her house, and everyone stays outside.
or
still.
drink more rosé.
or drink more rosé.
And send the
Keeps you
kids to
warm.
the neighbors to eat. We do that a lot too. Foolproof. We had a question right there.
Any question? Another question? Yep. Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
So-
keeping things warm.
Totally. So she said she has trouble keeping things warm. We had that same problem with our Thanksgiving party because it literally is like 100 people, and they all bring their stuff, and we try to say like starting at this time so the food's hot, but like, you know, people like it's just real life. So what I finally did is I ended up going to Smart and Final and buying a bunch of those chafing dishes, like the aluminum ones, and the like burners, and they're actually super cheap, and I reuse them every year. Like I just have to buy the burners every year, and then more of the like, so we have the big aluminum bins that go in the chafing dish, and then we buy like the half size ones for every year. So then when people bring their food, we'll put on the Evite, or I mean the like letterpressed paper invitation that they received in the mail. We put it in one of those like disposable things, but we have a bunch, so people like immediately will just put it in there, and that way like we can just have the food sitting there for 20 minutes, and then when everybody's there and all the food's there, it's still hot, and it was a good investment. It's annoying to store, but like it's worth it.
What if you're worried?
Yeah, like it's all out on a table outside, and then people, when they come, they just immediately put their dish, they like empty it into the chafing dish, and then
If
put
you
the
were
lid on.
worried about the way it looks too, because there's not really a pretty way to dress up chafing dishes, they are what they are. At least you could have them in your kitchen, like with the things inside, keeping it warm until you are ready to physically put it on the platter or in the bowl or whatever. So that way no one really has to know or see it, and you can still have a beautiful presentation.
That's right, that's what we do. I forgot.
But if it's 100 people, no, but if it's 100 people, I'm sorry, like you keep it in the chafing dishes and no one cares because it's 100 people and they're not expecting you to like have everything beautiful. But if if you're doing it for like 15, 20 people, you can still totally bring it out at the end and have it look beautiful and be warm.
And I feel like some of the dishes you sort of have to think through a little bit. I think having some dishes that no matter what, I can set it out, it's still gonna taste good in 2 hours is an awesome thing, right? So having your soup that's staying in the warmer and you're done, you do it the day before, or having like, I used to make these palmiers, which is like a puff pastry, like a cheese and prosciutto. Those are my saving graces. I could make those like literally a month and a half or like a month or two in advance, and you roll them up and then you keep them in the freezer and you pull it out and you literally just slice it and can bake it right when everyone comes, and they're instantly warm and looks like you just slaved over it, but yet I did them like, I would make my mom come over and we'd make a bunch for like her Christmas party, and we'd make them in advance. Or like an artichoke dip, like a hot artichoke, you can make that whole dip ahead of time, keep it in your refrigerator, and then just put it in the oven, and so all your chips are already out there and you literally just have to transfer that. So I try to pick a couple things that I know I can do ahead of time, and then if I'm gonna cook something, I just have to know I'm staying in the kitchen for this part of my party and I'm okay with it, and I don't try to be like here and there and everywhere. I sort of like, okay, husband or other like friends, you entertain everybody outside. I'm actually legitly cooking for at least 20 minutes. So I would say pick and choose what you're doing. Don't like, make yourself fail by picking a menu where like you can't complete it. That's what helped me. I did catering for a while and I sort of learned that lesson. But I did like some hot items, so I did have to figure out what are items that I can do ahead of time that still taste just as perfect when I bake them off.
I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many times I've had like a party at my house, or I might post something on Instagram and literally there's like a huge pile of dirty laundry to the left of that beautiful, perfect stuff. So it's like they're showing you the best of the best, and it doesn't mean that like their entire house was flawless and that like there wasn't like something hanging off their backdrop or whatever that you didn't see that was like kind of messy, and it's just everything's like cropped a certain way. So it's very hard like throwing parties nowadays, because you do feel all this pressure and you're seeing these things, and because most of those perfect parties, they actually weren't that perfect, but there was always going to be something that you just aren't seeing. So, or maybe their food was really bad or cold, or because they had this beautiful display.
I bet it was.
But maybe they didn't have the time to like really cook something delicious. So everything is relative, but I think as long as you feel like you're having fun and your guests are enjoying themselves, in the end, that's really all that matters. I know it sounds corny,
I agree. I think it's like an expectation you put on yourself. I think if you go on Pinterest to get the ideas, do that, but then shut it off and then stop.
Like don't pick a couple things. Because if you do a couple cool things, that's what they're going to remember.
If you have 5 ideas and you only finish 2, be like, oh sweet, I got 2 done. Like those other 3 we'll do next year, or whatever. Just don't put pressure on yourself, because then you aren't enjoying it, which is a bummer.
That's the whole point.
I do a lot of things ahead of time, so that sort of helps me, because for my kid birthday parties, I don't do every year crazy, but when I go for it, I like sort of go for it a little crazy. So I do try to plan ahead of time, and I'm then able to do a lot more of the ideas that I want to, because when I do research an idea and I see all the ideas, I do want to do most of them. And so I'll do like the backdrop like the week before, or I'll try to make elements of the food the night before, and then I have to tell myself the day of the party, I'll have a cutoff time, and I will stop at that time and say I'm going to enjoy it, and whatever I didn't get to do, I won't do, and I'll go with the party. But most of it I try to do ahead of time. Sometimes that fails you because you might do an outside backdrop and then the moisture makes it fall. So you can't do everything ahead of time, but I would say if you can plan ahead, you can get more items done. But if you're not a planner ahead of time person, then you shouldn't try to attempt more than 2 to 3 things because you're not going to be able to accomplish them. But if you really are passionate about doing that and you want to plan ahead, well, sure, you can get a lot of stuff done a month ahead of time, and then it's super enjoyable to put all together. And then I would always ask for help and always plan ahead 2 more hours than you think you're going to need, right? So don't say, I can pull this all off in 2 hours before the party. That's not true. You shouldn't plan anything in the morning. Just give yourself plenty of time so you can actually enjoy and have time to get ready yourself, because you have to have a cutoff time and you have to be able to enjoy your own party. Otherwise, what's the purpose of throwing a party?
True.
Yes.
I have an array of friends that are different backgrounds. They don't all know each other, but yet I'd love to have a party that brings people together. So what would you suggest is maybe a common theme or something that would bring people together to get to know each other, so you're not having to be constantly talking to everybody, making everyone feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Bring them together and help them.
That's a good question.
That
Her
is a
question,
great question.
if you didn't hear in the back, she has a lot of different friends that might not know each other. So what type of party should she throw to get everyone connected without having to connect everyone the whole time?
I think what we were kind of talking about earlier, having something that people can do, with their hands. They're that way that it's not just everybody standing around or people just sitting stiffly at a table. I think being able to do something together is great. So even if you guys had, I don't know, is it for adults only? And about how many people would you think? Okay. I mean, I don't know, I actually think it'd be fun to almost do a make your own cocktail type situation where people can actually stand around. I don't know if you have an island or if you've got a couple long tables. We did a party for Contro and they did a whole make your own margarita situation where there were different chopping boards and limes, and they had an instructor actually come in and kind of teach you how to make a margarita. The instructor can be you. You can find a great recipe online and, okay, we're gonna all do this together. Or even if, you started some people and then other people got to kind of move out and come in. But that's something kind of fun, even if it's, during the fall season. I think having a food, kind of make your own chili and people are kind of coming through and adding their own toppings, or, a make your own pizza party would be really fun actually, and getting really amazing toppings there. And that way people can kind of be in the kitchen at different times too, and it would kind of mix the groups up a little bit because not 35 people can't all be in your kitchen at once. So it would kind of force people to kind of flip around a little bit and start talking to different groups of people.
And I think you don't necessarily have to work too hard at it either. Our Thanksgiving party is a huge group of people that don't know each other, and they organically get to know each other. And for me, that's how I want it to be. I don't know that I would want to be a guest at a party where I'm forced to have an icebreaker, I mean, actually I would love that, but most people probably wouldn't. So I just feel I think the way that you set up your party, have all the focal points in one place, whether it's outside or in the backyard, or so that people are kind of all together in that space. You know what I mean? So you don't have people in the front yard, in the backyard, in the kitchen, have all the food and the drinks all in one place. So that's naturally where people are going to congregate, and then they're just going to naturally get to know each other, and then just do it frequently, Or, I mean, I feel even our bachelor nights, or if there's Game of Thrones, you find a common interest and you invite the people and they're repeatedly coming over. Or if it's a wine club and, they have those wine subscriptions now where you get new wines every month. You could have your friends over for wine tasting, and it's that's the kind of thing that's going to inspire conversation, but still it's organic and it's not a forced thing,
We actually did that, my birthday party, I think, one year. I hired a sommelier from a restaurant to come in, and we did it out on a little courtyard terrace where my husband and I lived at the time. And it was really fun. She stood there and talked about the wines, and everybody kind of could taste them, and we provided all the food. And it took the pressure off of me because I didn't have to be up there doing anything. I just showed up with my cheese platter, and people kind of just could chat. And wine always, alcohol loosens people up, it does. And so then people start, organically talking to each other. So that's something, and it didn't cost that much. I don't remember what I paid her, but you could probably hire someone for an hourly rate outside of the restaurant. You know what I mean? Kind of and then you provide all the wines. I asked her, I said, what's your recommendation for some wines? She told me. I went to Bevmo, bought them, and then so she was really coming and just working for an hourly rate at that point. But that's something kind of fun too.
We do, so cheesy, but we do vision board every year, in January, and it's all girls that don't know each other, and everyone kind of brings appetizers and things like that. But that's a really good way for everyone to connect and know
your life goals and dreams. I mean, by the end of it, you really know everyone. And you're all kind of like cutting things up and doing your vision board. So you could even do something like that.
Something we've talked about doing, but we've never done yet, which I'm gonna be inspired, is doing like a monthly dinner, and each dinner has a theme. So it's like, oh, tonight's Russia, and it's like you make Russian entrees, so you have to like research, and it's like everyone's doing it. So then automatically again, it's
we sort of did that with our Bible study group.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Yeah, we did do it. It was really fun. I thought,
but we already knew each other. But still, it would like inspire conversation, right? Because it's like, dude, how did you make that thing? You
totally,
know?
it was exciting. You're excited to see the people.
I probably didn't remember it because
I
I was not cooking. I was like,
yeah, you weren't cooking. I was though, and so was her husband and a couple other people. It was so fun because you were like looking forward to all week this meal because everyone was really trying out something new, and I love the themed dinners.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, before I started the bakery, I used to cater to make money too, and would do a lot of those private parties, like you said. You hired someone, and I felt like it was really fun because I got to go there and cook for people, and then they could ask me questions, and it was sort of like you said, it took the pressure off the host. I felt that even as the person that they hired, and I was able to like talk about the dishes, or everything was new, and it was sort of like an experience because I got to bring them all their thing, and it was like 5 courses rather than you go and get your chafing dishes with the food, which is a whole different experience. But when someone serves you and they're cooking right there on the spot for you, I do feel like that's definitely an experience, and so it's an icebreaker, and also like keeps the party going and stuff like that because the next course is coming, and then what's the next course, and so that's sort of fun.
I love it. We have time for one more question, if we have any. No? Okay, well, I am so inspired. I'm like going to go plan 100 parties, and I want to be all of your best friends to get invited to yours. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you.